Fair use. Daily reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. May 24th. Happy, joyous, and free. We are sure God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free. We cannot subscribe to the belief that this life is a vale of tears, though it once was just that for many of us. But it is clear that we made our own misery. God didn't do it. Avoid then the deliberate manufacture of misery. But if trouble comes, cheerfully capitalize it as an opportunity to demonstrate His omnipotence. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 133. For years I believed in a punishing God and blamed Him for my misery. I have learned that I must lay down the weapons of self in order to pick up the tools of the AA program. I do not struggle with the program because it is a gift, and I have never struggled when receiving a gift. If I sometimes keep on struggling, it is because I'm still hanging on to my old ideas, and the results are nil. Courage to Change One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, May 24th. In the words of Oscar Wilde, in this world there are only two tragedies. One is not getting what one wants, and the other is getting it. The last is much the worst. Translation: my will gets me into trouble. I aim for some goal or other, but even when I get it, I am rarely satisfied. It doesn't make my life complete, so I raise the ante, set a new goal, and push even harder. Or I don't get what I want and feel inadequate and deprived. Maybe that is why not one of the 12 steps talks about carrying out my will. The only times I have ever found lasting satisfaction were when I let go of self-will and committed myself to seeking the will of my higher power. Prayer and meditation are two means by which I seek to discover what God's will holds for me, and they help me to gain access to the power to carry it out. Sometimes my hopes and desires are forms of guidance. When I am willing to place God's will above my own, those dreams have a chance of becoming a wonderful reality. Today's reminder: the path to my true heart's desire is to surrender to the will of my higher power. There is a quote out of the 12 Steps and Traditions, and it reads, "We know that God can and will do anything that is for our ultimate good, if we are ready to receive His help." Just for today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, May 24th. Risking Vulnerability. As we grow, we learn to overcome the tendency to run and hide from ourselves and our feelings. Basic text, page 85. Rather than risk vulnerability, many of us have developed habits that keep others at a safe distance. These patterns of emotional isolation can give us the feeling we are hopelessly locked behind our masks. We used to take risks with our lives. Now we can take risks with our feelings. Through sharing with other addicts, we learn that we are not unique. We do not make ourselves unduly vulnerable simply by letting others know who we are, for we are in good company. And by working the 12 steps of the NA program, we grow and change. We no longer want or need to hide our emerging selves. We are offered the opportunity to shed the emotional camouflage we developed to survive our active addiction. By opening ourselves to others, we risk becoming vulnerable, but the risk is well worth the rewards. With the help of our sponsor and other recovering addicts, we learn how to express our feelings honestly and openly. In turn, we become nourished and encouraged by the unconditional love of our companions. As we practice spiritual principles, we find strength and freedom both in ourselves and in those around us. We are set free to be ourselves and to enjoy the company of our fellow addicts. Just for today, I will openly and honestly share with another recovering addict. I will risk becoming vulnerable and celebrate myself and my friendship with other NA members. I will grow. Today, Emotions Anonymous, May 24th. Reflection for today. Remembering the ruts and holes I used to dig myself into, I have finally realized that many of my depressions are caused by my character defect of procrastination. I wait until the last moment to do all the things I have been planning to do for several months. When everything falls due at the same time, it is not possible to accomplish all the goals, and then I lay guilt trip on myself. The guilt can be the beginning of the trip to depression land. I am learning to keep my job list realistic and to do the best I can with it. Meditation for today. Remind me that procrastination can lead me one rut closer to my deep hole of depression. Today I will remember I will do at least one thing from my job list today, whether big or small, and be grateful I could accomplish something. There were many days in the past when I could not. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics' dysfunctional families. May 24th. Trait 6. We have an overdeveloped sense of responsibility, and it is easier for us to be concerned with others rather than ourselves. This enables us not to look too closely at our own faults. BRB, which means Big Red Book, page 14. The tendency of most of us is to own every problem around us. We are the fixers. It doesn't matter whether or not we were asked to help. We will give everyone's problem our full attention. It's not difficult to assess where this tendency came from. Being responsible for the chaos in our family of origin was repeatedly put onto our small shoulders as children. We were placed in the middle of adult dysfunction at a very young age. We learned it was our job to focus on others and make things better. We also learned that our needs and wants were not important. It became a habit we carried into adulthood that also kept us from looking at ourselves. In ACA, for perhaps the first time, we are asked to focus on ourselves and own our own part in our dysfunctional lives. We acknowledge our character defects. As we do, we are gently guided through the process of reparenting ourselves with love and kindness. We learn that our needs are important. Our feelings are worthy of attention. The strong pull to fix others lessens. It was never our job in the first place. We start to get used to this new freedom. The affirmation reads, "On this day, I know that if I did not create the problem, I am not responsible for the solution. I focus on myself. This is Devotion, Health, and Beauty, DHB Recovery Network, Daily Affirmations, Reflections, Devotions, and Meditations. I am Day. DAA are my initials. Please like, share, subscribe, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be, one day at a time, and remember that you are not alone.